the dinner table, which doesn't help, by the way. This is the timeless story of hearing loss. Even today, in the age of commercial spaceflight and instant global communication, it's staggering just how common age-related hearing loss really is. After arthritis and heart disease, it's the third most common chronic condition affecting older adults. 2 out of every 3 of us will experience it personally once we're in our 70s. And of those, 2/3 have noticeable hearing loss before the age of 60. But here's the real problem. It turns out hearing loss isn't just an inconvenience. The newest research is showing us it literally alters the brain, and not in a good way. In one study, adults with mild hearing loss were 2 times more likely to develop dementia than those without hearing loss. Adults with severe hearing loss were 5 times more likely. In fact, if age-related hearing loss goes untreated, your brain literally shrinks. It's true. If you can't hear what's going on, your brain gets smaller, leading to depression, isolation, and even a measurable drop in your IQ. Despite these statistics, only around 1 in 8 doctors screen for hearing loss during a routine physical, and less than 1 in 7 adults who have hearing loss choose to purchase hearing aids. Plus, get this, even that one person who does get hearing aids, on average, they wait 10 years from their initial diagnosis before making the purchase, and even when they do, they don't use their hearing aids regularly. That's a full decade and beyond of shrinking brains, dropping IQs, and hour after hour of unnecessary yelling. It doesn't have to be like this. Today, most forms of hearing loss are treatable, thanks to improving science. So let's do a quick overview, starting with the common hearing aid. Hearing aids are actually like prescription eyeglasses. They need to be programmed by an audiologist to match your specific hearing loss. The results can be impressive, but they are also expensive, and they are not covered by Medicare or most insurance policies. Hearables, or personal sound amplification products, are often confused with hearing aids, but are actually over-the-counter solutions. Their quality really varies. After all, they are usually one size fits all, but they are much more affordable, and many people find them helpful. For those with truly profound hearing loss, there are cochlear implants. These devices combine a surgically implanted component and a small device worn behind the ear to turn sound waves into electrical impulses the brain can understand. Beyond this, there are assistive listening devices which, like hearables, can be purchased over the counter. Assistive listening devices are frequently used to amplify conversations or the TV. It also turns out, under the Americans with Disabilities Act, public venues like theaters and lecture halls are required to provide assistive listening devices, and if they have a hearing loop, it can transmit sound wirelessly to the T-coil in your hardware without the need to request additional equipment. And don't forget the apps. There are countless downloadable programs that have been developed to make life easier for those with hearing loss. There's also a whole host of products that don't rely on sound at all. Alarm clocks and fire alarms that vibrate your bed, as well as kitchen appliances and doorbells that blink and flash. And finally, there are strategies like getting someone's attention before speaking, turning off background noises, facing each other while talking, that improve communication more than any technology and cost nothing at all. Bottom line, there is a technology or a strategy for almost any situation, which means you don't have to tough it out. Because remember, toughing it out has consequences. Health condition with all sorts of negative outcomes, from social isolation to a higher chance of falling or crashing, and to an increased risk of developing dementia. In short, It's not just a personal health issue, it's a public health issue. And here's why. With 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every day for the next 15 years, the number of people with hearing loss is going to increase significantly. And, as we know now from extensive research, adults with hearing loss are 57% more likely to have deep episodes of stress and depression. And social isolation, which often comes hand in hand with hearing loss, is a key factor in morbidity and mortality, not to mention those shrinking brains and diminishing IQs. Hearing loss really is just the first domino in a much larger chain reaction, and all these dominoes together, they lead to increased healthcare costs and more medical interventions, all of which have a real impact on families, retirement plans, and state and federal budgets. So why go down that road, especially when we don't have to? The good news is that treating hearing loss isn't like fixing a heart or replacing a knee. It's an almost no-risk proposition, and it has a direct and positive impact on your quality of life.